Hey guys, it's Adi here with Geek on Gadgets, and this is a review of the Lumia 950 XL. So, a quick story before we actually get into the Lumia 950 XL review. Whether you're familiar with it or not, the story of Icarus in Greek legend. Now, in Greek mythology, Icarus was the son of a master craftsman who was trying to help his son escape from some people trying to kill him. So what he did was make him a pair of wings out of wax and feathers. And he told his son to fly away on these wings, but also warned him at the same time not to be too proud and to be humble. So not to fly too close to the sun so the wax doesn't melt, and not to fly too close to the earth or the sea so that the humidity doesn't make the wings too heavy and fall off. Of course, Icarus ignored his father's warnings and flew too close to the sun. His wings fell off and he fell into the ocean and died. It also inspired one of my favorite Imagine Dragons songs with the line, Icarus flew too close to the sun. So anyway, same thing with Microsoft. Microsoft tried flying too close to the sun with Windows 10 Mobile. They had this concept for one Windows, where your Windows on your PC and your Xbox and your tablet and your phone are all the same thing. And it had a lot of potential. But they're trying to run this new one Windows idea with time that they don't have. For the past several years, lots of Windows Phone supporters have moved on to Android and iOS simply because the phone was lagging so much. The few people who still remained with Windows Phone stayed there because they were dedicated to the OS. With fan favorites such as the Lumia 1520, Lumia 920, and even the Lumia 830, which has probably not the best specs, but it has one of the best looking Lumias out there, people were still dedicated to the OS. Windows Phone, regardless of its shortcomings, was still a pretty awesome and fun OS to use. It was always fluid no matter what. Every phone I reviewed, from the Lumia 500 series to the top of the range 1520 and 930, I could expect the same performance from all of them. Perhaps a few more seconds of lag in the lower ends, but all over the phone was a nice package. The system was nice, it had some shortcomings, yes, especially in the apps ecosystem, but it made up for it by not being a spec beast. You wouldn't have to worry about the phone lagging if it had less than optimal specs. And I think that was the best thing about Windows Phone, in my opinion, was the fact that it was reliable. It was fast, it was smooth, apps didn't crash, it had a very nice build, and we were promised that the apps would come. Moving on to the Lumia 950 XL, which is the first official Windows 10 mobile phone. And honestly, the apps aren't here. In fact, most of the apps are leaving the ecosystem, and any credence that Windows Phone 7.5, 8, 8.5, 8.1, all of them gave to it was lost. Back when Nokia launched the Lumia 900, they ran this huge campaign called The Beta Test Was Over, claiming that every single phone before the Lumia 900 was a beta phone, and that all those phones are gone now and we can now move on to the real-world releases, which was the Lumia 900 and Windows 7.5.
You didn't think those other smartphones were real, did you?
I did.
Oh, no. No. The Nokia Lumia 900 is here.
Of course, ironically, the Lumia 900 barely had 6 months of real prime time before it was outdated and did not get updated to Windows Phone 8. However, if you're going to call anything before the Lumia 900 a beta test phone, then the Lumia 950 XL with Windows 10 Mobile in its current state is completely alpha. There is nothing about this phone that feels complete, OS-wise, of course I'm saying. Although some people are going to say that I'm being biased or extremely harsh towards Windows Phone and Microsoft in general, I really am not. I mean, I thought people that were reviewing the phone were being biased and harsh towards the Lumia 950 XL. When I saw the reviews, they were calling it slow, clunky, really nothing going on with it, and I thought that's insane. This is the Lumia 950 XL, the big one. Unfortunately, they were right. The Lumia 950 XL has almost nothing going to it. Let's move on to the full review. Now, for starters, of course, and unfortunately, one of the biggest peeves I have with the Lumia 950 XL is right off the bat, the way it looks. I've complained about this so much on Twitter, I've complained to anyone who listens to me. The phone is boring. It has, I don't want to say it looks bad because that's just giving it generous. The phone has zero appeal, both physically and in terms of actually using the phone. I actually got this phone alongside the LG V10, and I literally could not bring myself to pick up this phone and try it out because the V10 had so much appeal going on to it while the Lumia 950 XL was such a bland phone. The real issue is, honestly, is to show how bad Microsoft have messed up with this device, is the fact that on paper, the Lumia 950 XL is an amazing phone. It has a 2K display, 5.7-inch AMOLED screen, Snapdragon 810 octa-core processor with 3 gigabytes of RAM, 32 gigabytes of internal memory. The specs are there. It has a 20 megapixel f1.9 lens with the triple LED flash Zeiss lenses. It has the full workups in terms of the spec sheet. But unfortunately, somewhere between printing off that spec sheet and moving on to the actual phone, a lot of that appeal and power was lost in translation somewhere. To be completely honest, the thing that bothers me most about the Lumia 950 XL is just the fact that it does not look or feel like a flagship device. I know so many people have ranted about this online, but this creaky plastic build that feels so cheap, the fact that it has zero inspiration going on in the actual design. It's literally a plastic block. For anyone who had any doubt that the soul of Nokia, once Microsoft bought them, would live on, unfortunately those dreams have been destroyed by the device that is called Lumia 950 XL. The design and feel you get when holding the Lumia 1520, the 920, the 830, even the 930, it just has that feeling going on in it, and the Lumia 950 XL is such a bland phone. Now, to be fair to the Lumia 950 XL, there are some parts where it excels in, specifically the camera when it works. The 20 megapixel camera with a triple LED lens takes some amazing photos, especially with the rich capture, which gives you those living images that Apple have borrowed. Being able to adjust the flash exposure after taking the image, those make some great photography options. The front-facing camera is actually pretty impressive too for a Lumia. I expected pretty poor results. I was pleasantly surprised. Unfortunately, once again, even the camera is brought down by Windows 10. Once I got the phone, I couldn't even record in 4K, which is supposed to be an option on. Unfortunately, there was absolutely no way to do so except by hard resetting the phone completely. And this is definitely not an experience a normal user wants to have to do after spending a few hours setting up his phone, installing his apps, to have to hard reset the phone to get proper video recording options. The inconsistencies in the OS out there just continue carrying on. The OS is buggy in many places. Opening up settings and just trying to adjust the single settings such as the email or adding an account often, if it works, will take forever. If not, you'll once again have to either soft reset or hard reset the phone. I had a lot of trouble trying to set up my email accounts as well. Without going into too much detail about the shortcomings of Windows 10 Mobile, the fact is that it lost any credence and fan appeal that it had from people such as me who really appreciated Windows Phone as the smooth and fluid OS it was. Instead, we got Windows 10 Mobile, which is really buggy and still doesn't have the apps, which makes it completely inexcusable. One of the advantages of having a unified OS such as Windows 10 Mobile is the fact that we have the Continuum feature, which allows you to use your phone as a computer on the go. What you need is a Continuum dock like this, the cables, and a portable mouse and keyboard, as well as a display to connect to. Unfortunately, I honestly see no real-world application of this. If I'm going to travel somewhere and going to be bringing my phone, a keyboard, a mouse, my Continuum dock, 2 cables, one to power the Continuum dock and one to connect it to the phone, as well as HDMI cord, because you're not sure if there's going to be one available wherever you're going, I'd much rather take my own laptop with me or a tablet by that ease of mind, especially considering that these accessories are not cheap. The Continuum dock alone is $100. You have the keyboard is also $100. I think this Microsoft mouse is $60. Of course, you can get by with any mouse or keyboard, but I'm just going off the standard setup right here. So it's a very expensive setup just to have the ability to use Continuum on the go, which personally I would never use. I have a laptop or a tablet to get that work done. And if it really is that important for me to edit that spreadsheet on the go, I'll probably have a laptop with me. That is not to mention, of course, that regardless of the Snapdragon 810 and 3 gigabytes of RAM, it still does lag when trying to run apps in the Continuum mode. And it's just a shame because it's another letdown for a major selling point. And I'm sure some people will find Continuum useful. But similar with that gap where people would say, why would I bother doing this on my tablet? I'll just bring my laptop with me. The Lumia 950 XL with Continuum still has that same problem where you're like, why would I bother with all this? I'll just bring my laptop or tablet with me. Unfortunately, the disappointments don't end there. The Lumia 950 XL's iris scanner, which was a really interesting feature for a lot of people along with Windows Hello, it was supposed to be such an awesome feature. Unfortunately, although it does work, it's just really slow. It's faster for me to type in my PIN code than to have it unlock off my iris. and especially since I have to raise it to eye level and put it about a foot away from my eye for it to unlock, it's very unnatural. It's not something I would do, especially when I'm trying to unlock it in public. At least for fingerprint scanners, I can unlock it while it's beneath my desk, it's on my phone. I don't have to lift it and actually interact with the phone to unlock it. But this one, you have to physically move the phone out of its normal range to unlock it with the iris scanner. And that is something that is pretty much unacceptable these days, especially considering the fact that the iris scanner also seems to lock itself out. If your phone is charging and you get a notification, it'll try unlocking the phone. Of course, if it's on your desk or charging and you're not looking at it, it'll try unlocking using the iris scanner and it'll fail, telling you that it failed too many times and you're going to have to unlock it with your PIN code. So it's pretty much redundant, and unfortunately that's something you're going to see a lot with Windows 10 Mobile. It is very redundant in a lot of the features that it has. Other features fail to impress. Except for the camera, really, there's nothing I would suggest buying this phone for. Unfortunately, this is coming across as a scathing review, and it honestly is a scathing review from a burnt Nokia and Windows Phone fan who really had high hopes for this phone and was ultimately very disappointed. Leave your comments down below, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to call me a hater, go ahead. See you guys around.